Hey, I'm Scott and I'm an American in Bangkok. Today I'm going to go over a letter I got from a guy named Bill. He writes to me, "Hey Scott, I bumped into a guy yesterday who returned from Thailand. He did indicate to obtain a visa for a long-term stay is very difficult now. I am below 50 years of age, and I plan on coming over for a minimum of 6 months. Can you advise? Thanks." Uh, I'm just going to read what I wrote back to the guy because I've already answered this question, and I've answered this several times, and it's not all that difficult because your options are fairly limited. It really depends on the length of time that he wants to stay. He's saying a minimum of 6 months. Well, a minimum of 6 months, does that mean he's going to stay for 8 months, 6 months, or does it mean he wants to stay for 10 years? He's just not sure. He's going to give it 6 months and he's going to check it out. So when you ask questions of me, please be kind of specific because there's no way for me to answer some of these questions that I get without having more questions when I get a question like this. But I'll tell you, I got a message from a guy the other day. He's a Thai, and he said, "Hi, Scott. How much does it cost for me to live in America like a normal person?" I mean, I understand he probably doesn't know, but America is 50 times larger, at least, than Thailand. And there are places where you can live for next to nothing, and there are places where it's going to cost you 10,000 a month to live as a normal person. If you're living in Manhattan, I got no idea how much it costs, but it ain't cheap. It's going to cost you a considerable amount of money. And for me to live in the United States, if you're single, it costs you a couple $1,000s. So I wrote to the guy, and I said, "Hey, it's going to cost you at least a couple $1,000s. It could cost you anywhere up to $6,000 a month just to live normally. I mean, if you've got an apartment in New York and it's running you $3,000 a month or $2,500 a month, and that's an average apartment in the area where you are, well, then you still got everything else to cover. You got food, you got transportation, you got this, you got that. So that's a very broad question. So I wrote back to the guy. I said, it depends on the length of time that you really want to stay. If you're looking at years, then it might be difficult to do this since you're under 50. If you're looking at a year or so, then try getting a multiple entry tourist visa. If you only want 6 months, get a multiple entry tourist visa in the U.S., which is where this guy's from. And you can stay for 6 months. You can stay for a year on the multiple entry tourist visa. You should have absolutely no problem. If you want to stay for longer than that, get an education visa. I mean, you can still do it, but you're going to have to go and study. Whatever it is you're studying, Thai, you're going to a Thai university, whatever it is, okay? But with the university, or rather the education visa, the rules are getting a little more strict, so it's not like you're going to be able to go, okay, I'll just go study Thai once a week and I'll get my visa. That's not how it's going to work for the most part. If you want to stay longer and you have the money, buy a condo. You got to pay a couple million baht. But the thing is with a condo, listen, my wife and I have gone back and forth about getting a condo. And first of all, I personally don't want to have anything that I have payments on, which means you got to pay cash. So what kind of an investment is it to pay 2 million baht when you can get a condo for, say, 10,000 baht a month? I don't know that it's a great investment, and especially because you never really know what's going to happen in this country, and you never really know if you're going to want to stay here for a lengthy period of time. So just saying, I just got to get a visa, so I want to buy a condo. Well, first of all, Thais don't generally like buying secondhand condos, okay? So that makes it a little more difficult to sell. Unless you're in Pattaya or Phuket or somewhere like that, then maybe you'll have an easier time of it. You can sell to a foreigner, but why limit yourself? So that, to me, makes no sense to getting... the guy is 44 years old. So he's got 6 years. So to buy a condo so he can live in Thailand on a 1-year visa, I think it would be an investment visa for 6 years. To me, it doesn't make sense. But then again, at the end of the time, if you want to change over to a retirement visa or something like that, I mean, you could rent it out and get your money back. I mean, you know, I don't know. I just don't think it's a great investment. But he did write me back and said, you know, I'm 44. I might have to consider buying a condo. So I wrote to him again and I said, hello. Hello. Of course I said, you know, hey. Honestly, I'm not so sure of the value of buying a condo unless perhaps you plan on living in Pattaya or Phuket. Thais like buying anything secondhand, so it's probably not a great investment, especially with rent being as cheap as it is here. And that gives you freedom. You have the freedom, where, especially if you're one guy, you get the freedom to go, listen, I'm out of here. I'm going somewhere else. I don't like this place. I don't like the noise. I don't like my neighbors. I just feel like leaving. Whatever it is, and then you can split. But when you got a condo that you got to pay for every month, it's not so easy. You either got to keep paying, or you're gonna have to rent it out or sell it. Okay. Maybe something else that you can consider is a Thai Elite card, which, you know, whatever. I mean, I don't know that it's. I guess if you really want to stay in Thailand, maybe you get a 5-year Thai Elite visa. That's 500,000 baht, which works out to 100,000 a year, and you know, then he'd be almost 50, and he could probably make up the time with tourist visa or just going in and out without a visa or something like that and extending, and then he could get a retirement visa, and then he would be fine. But if you do get the Thai Elite card, basically, you really have nothing at the end of the 5 years other than you stayed for 5 years. So it's 100,000. It breaks down to about 100,000 a month, which is, you know, what is that? 8,600 baht a month. It's a couple $100 a month. So if you got the money, maybe it's worth it. If it's not going to hurt you, and you're like, hey, you know, I got 100 grand in the bank, I'll pay this money so I can stay there. Well, then go ahead and do it. But you know, like what I wrote here was that my wife and I have considered buying a condo in Bangkok, but so far haven't pulled the trigger because we don't want to live there. We don't want to live in the condo, at least not now when we got kids. And as an investment, I think the potential for return is fairly low. If we do buy one in the future, it's basically just going to be for convenience. Maybe if we were to live part-time in the United States and we wanted a place to come back to, and you know, we had a good-sized studio or a 1-bedroom or something like that, and we had that all the time for us at our disposal, and we paid cash for it. All right, it's a convenient thing. You know, it's for convenience. It's not necessarily as an investment. I think that that's probably okay. But he says, you know, I guess a double tourist visa is probably a better option. I'm just trying to research what is the most cost-effective solution for a long-term stay and decide if this place is for me. I'm looking for a minimum stay of 6 months. Thanks. Well, I mean, if you're just going to come here and you're just trying to figure out if you want to stay or not, then get a tourist visa. I mean, why invest and do all this stuff? You're not even sure you want to stay, and it may take you longer than 6 months. It might. I would say that if you don't know if you want to live here after a year, that you probably don't want to live here. Okay? Because the way that it worked with me, I mean, it's not going to work the same with everybody, but the way that it worked with me was that I took, I think it was 5 trips. It was 5 or 6 trips, but I think it was 5. 5 trips. And about the 3rd trip, I thought, wow, you know, I really like this place. This is a place maybe I could live. And by the 5th trip, I was thinking to myself, how can I do it? How can I live in Thailand? So you're definitely going to need that time. And I think that, you know, if you stay here 6 months straight, you should be able to figure it out. So you should easily be able to get a multiple entry tourist visa in the United States. I'm not sure. He didn't tell me where he was located in the United States, but I'm sure he can get one. It's in one of the areas. Might be a little bit of a hassle if you're not close by a Thai embassy, but you know, whatever is worth having, sometimes it doesn't come easily. You got to work for it. So do what you got to do. Check it out, and in the end, you know, you'll figure it out. I mean, if you really want to stay, you'll figure out a way. There are options for you to explore, and but the thing is that here's the deal. Okay, I'll make it very simple for people. If you got money, it's very simple to stay in Thailand. If you have money, but if you're like, you got no money in the bank and you're earning $800 a month, well, then it's not going to be as easy to live in the country. If you're under 50 and you're not married to a Thai, it's not going to be as easy as somebody who is over 50, can get a retirement visa, or who's married to a Thai, or who is working for a company. That's another option. You want to work, find a job. Not easy to do, but there's always teaching English, I guess. Or, you know, maybe depending on what your skill is, you could find a job doing something else. I don't know. But that's what I think. That's all I got. Please click like. Please share, comment. Let me know what you think. Also, please visit my website. I got anamericaninbangkok.com. I also have scottmallon.net. That's where my photographs are. Excuse me. I'm still working on the site, but it should be done shortly because I have made it a priority now, and I am working on it daily. Let's see, what else? Like, share, websites. Oh, I'm going to start putting videos up on YouTube Mondays and Thursdays. Member section, Tuesdays and Fridays. Podcast, Wednesdays and Saturday. So until next time, that's all I got. I'm Scott. I'm an American in Bangkok. Chok di la jerkan mai.